I don't want to be your wife. I don't belong to no man. And yet I do. Oh wow, it's me again 2 days later. I know I just uploaded, but some stuff has gone down. Notably that my subscriber count over here has just about doubled. By the time this goes up, actually, it will have doubled. And Cuzco's also here. So I wanted to come on and say a quick welcome and thank you to all of the new faces around here. I know a bunch of you came over from Emma's channel, so thank you so much. I'm glad you enjoyed her video of me crying over organic bird food that I ended up not buying, and I still regret it. I still miss it. So this is just a quick get to know me Q&A. Thank you to everybody on Twitter and Instagram who, wow, who answered and asked me questions. Some of you answered using your private Instagram and on my personal Instagram. So I will not be linking, wow, I will not be linking those handles, just, you know, because privacy is a nice thing. We don't appreciate it like we used to. It's true. We don't. If you are new around here and would like to come and get to know me on my other socials, I will link those below. I am super active on Twitter and Instagram, so come say hi. And now let's do a little get to know each other. Okay, so the first question is, who are you, where do you live, and what do you like? See you, Lindsay. Hi, who am I? It's an important question. I'm Ariel. I live on the east coast of Canada in Nova Scotia, and I like animals. I wish there was more to me than that, but there really isn't. This is Cuzco. He hasn't been in my videos in a minute because he's a very hormonal boy. He's a little humpy. Next question from Jeremy is, where did my channel name come from? This is a question I get asked a lot, and rightfully so. It's a weird name. So Spicy Uterus originally began as my Instagram account all about my chronic illness. I have endometriosis, quite aggressively so. Endometriosis is essentially an inflammatory disease that causes internal bleeding, particularly around ovaries and uteruses and like that general vicinity. So it causes cysts, internal bleeding, a lot of pain and inflammation, hormonal reactions. So my skin a lot of the time is a whole hot mess. It causes a lot of things to go wrong, but the biggest one is pretty severe pain. So I've had surgery for it. I've been on some very aggressive medications for it. I'm currently finishing a 2-year cycle of low-grade chemo to try and keep everything under control. And then next year I will actually be looking at going out of province for more surgery. So I originally started my Instagram to kind of follow and share that journey. Then I went through a pretty extended period where my health was quite stable, and people were had seen my animals in the background of a lot of my photos and stuff. And so I just kind of started sharing more about them because they really are a big part of my life, and it just kind of took over from there. So I do still occasionally share my endometriosis goings on. I have a couple different vlogs on here about it. And when I do end up going out of province, I will share that as well. But primarily this is an animal related channel, but I did keep the name. Next question is, who are my pets? So the one that you hear screaming right now is Cuzco. He is a 5-year-old Fisher's lovebird. He's very needy and somewhat clingy, which is an understatement, by the way. He's making it very difficult for me to film this right now. Next, I have Kita and Chip, who are my budgies. Chip is 8 as of this month. Cuzco also turned 5 this month, I forgot to say. And then Kita is 1.5. My last bird, number 4, is Indy, and Indy is a 10-year-old parrotlet who I got last year. I've had Chip the longest, then Cuzco, then Indy, and then I got Kita in the spring, if you watched my last video. Then I have a crested gecko named Sushi, and my saltwater fish tank back here, which is pretty much my baby. And in there I have 2 clownfish, Tulio and Miguel, a firefish named Milo Thatch, and a whole bunch of coral, which I actually got from Emma. Most of them belonged to her, and I got them when she was getting ready to move. Davis wanted to know if I could only have one kind of animal, what it would be. And I don't like this question because it's a really hard one to answer. I think birds. If I had to narrow it down to, and it's not even a species, if I had to narrow it down to like one group of animals, I would say birds. I really love my birds. They are so much. One of my fish just jumped out of the tank. Are you still in the tank? Now I have to check. You might think I'm crazy for needing to check to see that my fish are in the tank even with a lid on, but I've had one jump out from under the lid and land in my bed. What are my favorite and least favorite parts of the pet tube community? First of all, let me just say that I really hate the term pet tube. I'm sorry if Cuzco is distracting. He really wants to hump my ponytail right now and I'm not into that. I'll start with my least favorite. My least favorite is that we definitely have a reputation for being somewhat catty, somewhat dramatic. And I think that that comes from, I mean, animals are a very heated topic to begin with. People are very, very passionate about what they consider to be like the best possible care. And so when you see things that differ from that, or opinions or education that are different from what you personally believe is the best husbandry, it tends to get heated very quick because it's a subject that people are passionate about. And I think that those things, for the most part, come from a place of genuine care and concern for the animals, but because it's the internet, it often comes off aggressive or just not the kindest. I personally disagree with that. I think that there are good and bad people in every community, and we're no worse than any other of the niche groups in YouTube. Favorite part of the pet community online is that you get to see so many examples of husbandry from so many different people. Obviously, don't use YouTube as your only place of research when you're looking into getting an animal, but it is really helpful to see different care styles and different tips and tricks. So I really enjoy seeing people get creative with their enclosures and really kind of trying to give their animal the best possible life that they can with the resources they have. Great DIY hacks and great educational videos out there. So obviously, like, that would be my favorite part for sure. I really think this community has a lot to bring to the animal care industry as a whole. I really hope that it continues to grow and become more popular, and because I think it is a good resource. Cass over on Twitter wanted to know what my dream bird to own was. Honestly, a parrotlet was my dream bird for a really long time, and I have one now, so I guess Indy. Cass also wanted to know what the biggest saltwater tank I would want to own is. In a perfect world, I would love to have like a 200 or like 400 gallon just massive reef tank. So I really like tangs. They're some of my favorite fish, and they need to go in very large tanks. They get quite big. So I would like to be able to have a tank with a few tangs in it. Unfortunately, my health is not the best, as we've already established. So for me to do that would be pretty hard on my body, and I don't actually know, other than the fact that like I could never afford it. I don't think that I would physically be able to handle such a large tank, so I'm pretty happy sticking with my Nano. Julia, rather sarcastically, wanted to know if I think dog costumes are abusive. No, Julia. No, I do not. Hi! Next question I got was, how old am I? So I am 28. My birthday is in April, at which point I will be 29 and probably freaking out a little bit because the idea of turning 30 really freaks me out. I'm not... I mean, I'd rather turn 30 than not turn 30, I guess, but... Next question, one that I get a fair bit, is how do I afford my animals? I afford my animals by working myself to death. So in the summer, I was actually working 4 jobs. I have since narrowed that down to 1. I like to say I've learned that lesson, but anyone who knows me in my real life knows that I'm like notorious for taking on too much, especially when it comes to my professional life. So I'm sure that I'm sure that I will be working more than 1 job soon. What is something I can't leave the house without? Cuzco. I mean, I can, but he's gonna get really mad and chew his way out of the aviary and then chew on my door. So I will sometimes bring him to work. I have brought him on lots of trips for contract jobs. He's flown all over the country. Obviously, I can't leave the house without him, but like I said, there's always consequences to that. He's a very bonded boy. Have I ever had a near-death experience? Yes, actually. 4 years ago, I fell off a horse and broke my arm. And that might sound super basic to you. Oh no. The way in which I broke my arm was I didn't just break it, I exploded my humerus. And honestly, this is such a long story that it's probably deserving of its own video. So I will definitely put that up at some point. But the short version is that I had bone fragments, and we didn't know this at the time, but I had bone fragments that were sitting on vital arteries. And it was not pleasant. Next question, because that one made me really uncomfortable. Am I an introvert or extrovert? My friends in my real life will probably disagree with this because I'm pretty obnoxious all the time, but I am actually very introverted once I'm home. I am very extroverted at work or if I'm with friends, but then once I get home, I'm very much a don't talk to me, I need to be alone, recharge, hang out with my animals, you know. I'm definitely an introvert. Someone asked what my tattoos are, and I'm planning a video on this, so I'm not gonna answer this just yet. If money were no object, what pet would you get? Oh, I'd get a horse. I've been riding horses for 20 years this year, actually. I definitely don't ride as much as I used to, especially since my accident. I miss it, and I do want to get back into it. I definitely, I still have like a barn that I visit regularly and actually worked at until quite recently. I'd love to have a horse. What are my hobbies outside of pets? Is there a world outside of pets? I had no idea. I think that's it. I think everything is animals. Wow, Cuzco. Look at him right now. Oh my God, he's so cute. It's so hard to stay mad at him when he's being... No, it's not. It's not that hard to stay mad at you. You're being a brat right now. Ugh. Birds get like this in the fall and the spring, and it's awful. How tall am I? I am 5'10". I'm a little tall. If I could travel anywhere in the world, where would I go? So my answer to this has always been the same, but my reasons have changed. So I've always really wanted to go to Australia. It's been #1 on my travel list forever. It's also the farthest that you can fly from where I currently live, so it's not happening anytime soon. But the other reason I really want to go to Australia or like New Zealand is because my brother actually lives in New Zealand now, and he's been there since May of this year. So I haven't seen him since May, and we're not super close, but he is still my baby brother. And I would love to be able to visit him, and he's going to be in Australia for Christmas this year, and I would really like to be able to go down and experience such a different place with somebody that I love. But like I said, it costs $1 million, so not this year, not in the cards this time around, but hopefully someday soon. And the last question I'm going to end with tonight is, what are my future animal plans? I don't actually have any plans for new animals in the immediate future. I'm pretty maxed right now with 4 birds, a fish tank, and a gecko in an apartment. So my plans are mostly for enclosure upgrades. I want to do a little bit of a rescape on my aquarium, change some stuff around in there. Wow. I do have another 6-gallon aquarium that right now is empty, so I'm thinking about restarting that and getting that up and running again. And also doing an overhaul of the aviary that the birds live in, and just kind of giving that some upgrades and some new toys and some new perches and stuff. And I'll be documenting all of that. Definitely some upgrades and just kind of building on and stabilizing what we already have established. All right, that's it for this one, guys. I hope you enjoyed. I hope Cuzco wasn't super distracting. This is what bird ownership is like. Everyone thinks it's so like fun and glamorous to have like a little buddy with you all the time, but until they want to make babies with you, and then it's not so fun. He mellows out though. This is like this time of year is pretty much his worst behavior wise. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, please be sure to give it a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button. Oh my God. So you can see more videos of Cuzco driving me absolutely bonkers. And again, thank you to Emma for giving me such a lovely shout out on her channel. I will link her channel below, although honestly, if you found my channel and don't know who Emma is, like what are you even doing on this part of YouTube? Thank you so much for watching. Thank you to all of you who sent me questions, and I will see you guys in the next one.